Welcome back and thank you for joining us. We've just wrapped our phone-in segment in negotiations with terrorists. Is it necessary for peace? Where viewers shared their thoughts on this pressing national issue, especially in light of recent abductions and security challenges across the country. Now we move into a deeper discussion on negotiations with a terrorist, analysis on ongoing security measures. We're joined virtually by Dr. Yahuza Ahmad Getso, a distinguished security intelligence and investigation expert, as well as a community-driven development professional, forest intelligence therapist, and consultant on crimes in hard-to-reach terrains. Dr. Getso also serves as the managing director of Eagle Integrated Security and Logistics Company Limited, Abuja, and is an experienced farmer, agri-business practitioner, and livestock entrepreneur. His unique background allows him to assess both the operational and societal dimensions of Nigeria's security challenges. In this segment, we'll explore the effectiveness of the government's current strategies, the role of negotiation versus enforcement, and practical ways to protect vulnerable communities while strengthening national security. Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Getso.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning once again.
Thank you for joining us, Doctor. Now, let's move straight ahead. To start with, how would you assess Nigerians' current approach to security, particularly regarding the recent mass abductions in the north?
Well, it is really complex, simply because of so many reasons. Earlier, Nigerians knows that there are a clan or a group of people called kidnappers and bandits. And there were speculations that it is the Fulani clan that are conducting the banditry and kidnapping activities, especially in the northwestern part of the country and the north central part of the country, as well as many other parts. Yes, of course, the Fulani militia has been at the forefront of the activity of banditry and kidnapping. But why I call it a complex, it's because it has turned into a resource mobilization by all the criminals, all the group of agitators, religious agitators, social agitators, economic agitators, and so on and so forth. So it has now become a business. Like we do have agricultural business, petroleum marketing business, livestock business, and so on and so forth. Likewise, the kidnapping and banditry have become has composed itself to have become another business itself. Why? Because Lakurawa are now into crimes, ideological crimes, as well as kidnapping and banditry. The Fulani militia are in conducting the crimes in the context of crime as itself, as the primary owners of the business or of the concept. They are still in it, and they are partnering with others. Boko Haram, ISWAP, Ansaru, Mahmuda, and all sort of things that you know are all party to, inclusive of the extension of the IPOP. Those who are agitating in the south, south, and southeast are also participating in the activity called kidnapping and banditry, simply because they kidnap people, they hold people as their hostages, and they request for ransom. And the simple reason for the ransom is to use it as a resource mobilization so they can be able to fund their activities. So it is no longer a Fulani militia. And even when the Fulani militia was taking the lead of conducting this activity, I have made it very clear that it is a combination of many other tribes. Hausa were involved, Yoruba were involved, Fulani were involved, who are taking the lead, as well as the other tribes that are living within the belt of the northwestern part of the country, as well as the north central and other part where the kidnapping activity were taking place with the Fulani militia as the leaders. Why do I say so? Simply because who has been supplying the social needs to these kidnappers in terms of Maggie Cube in terms of food items and so on and so forth. And who has been providing the arms and armament? It is the other tribes who has been selling the motorbikes they are using, the fuel they are using, who has been selling it to them. It is the Hausas, the Igbos, the Yorubas, and all other people. So it becomes a kind of collaborative business whereby many hands were found in it. So the situation become kind of promoted because of so many things, which I may itemize a few of them. One is the negligence by the government. Two, sabotage, saboteurs within, saboteurs around, and saboteurs within the room who are at the back of the curtain, who has been providing necessary ingredients for the services or for the practitioners to continue to play their business. And number three, the policy. We have not had a single policy of fighting the insurgency, of fighting the banditry, kidnapping, and all other security challenges that we have. But we keep talking, we keep saying, we keep discussing. One governor from Kaduna, the other governor from Katsina, the other governor from Zamfara, the other governor from Kebbi, the other governor from Niger. One is arguing and everybody was struggling in order to say that I am the one that is doing the best. I'm delivering the best in terms of security. I'm doing the best in terms of this ABC. Number four, politicization of the security itself. Our politicians have taken advantage. Even now, within the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there are many people that he appointed that are being alleged and challenged that they are party to banditry and kidnapping activity. Up till now, we have not seen them resigning from their appointment, and we have not also seen the government removing them or disengaging them so that they can face the wrath of the law, for them to be investigated and confirm that either they are really participating or they are not, and so on and so forth.
And banditry.
Number five, sorry.
I said, Dr. Getso, if I may ask, who are those people that are being alleged to be involved in the government that have their hands in those kidnappings and banditry as well?
Well, I think I don't need to mention name, but those who alleged, those who challenged them, they mention names. There were many who were found wanting. There are a lot of allegations around. There are those who were found among the politicians. I will not mention them. I don't need to mention them. I don't have to mention them, but they know themselves. And everybody that is on the media, either social media or traditional media, knows that there are those who finger has been raised against them. Their names has been all over, right from the religious scholars have challenged them, politicians challenge them, their opponents in the politics challenge them, and they mention their names. But I don't have the authority to mention their names. But all I know, it is all over and it is available. It's something you know, I know, and it's something that anybody who wants to conduct research can easily go to YouTube, can easily go to Facebook, can easily go to, you can even visit my social media handles. Some of those clips are there where these guys that are part of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu were challenged and alleged to be contributory. Either they are financing, or they are friending, or they are communicating, or they are utilizing their own office capacity in preventing and protecting and promoting and so on and so forth. There were even some that were alleged to have paid for them to travel for pilgrimage and so on and so forth.
All right,
so
Getso,
all these are there. The contents are there. They are available on the newspapers and online newspapers, print and electronic media is there. All these information, if anybody, if you want to conduct investigative journalism, you can go into it and you will find it there.
All right, Dr. Getso, are you with us? At this point, speaking of the federal government, speaking of security, we've seen both military operations and reported negotiations with kidnappers. Now, from a security expert's point of view, what are the strengths and weaknesses of these approaches that have been put in place?
Well, there are the weaknesses. One is the inability of the government to use the network service providers in order to fast track who are really the bandits, where are their locations, why are they succeeding in keeping people under their custody and negotiating the ransom and receiving the ransom? How are they receiving the ransom? And after receiving the ransom, where are they taking the ransom? Because you cannot tell me 10 million, 50 million, 30 million, 2 million, 500,000, 600,000, 300,000, and so on and so forth is still being kept in the forest. There were times when I discussed that some of the bank managers and some of financial institutions, they know where this money is going. So definitely that is one. Secondly, the strength also goes around the ability of the criminals to get the money, to force the families and relations, inclusive of some of the high-level personality and some of the policy makers, family that has been kidnapped, and they force them to still pay, including the military, including the senior military officers. Some of their relations were kidnapped. Some of many other senior intelligence personnel, not only in the military, in the police, in the DSS, and so on and so forth. And they were unable to kind of fast-track who are really these guys and deal with them according to law of the nation. But Teresa, they become subservient by they become subservient and submissive by mobilizing the resources and the amount of money requested after negotiating with bandits and submitting the money. And also, like I said, a policy has been made, and this policy says that anybody who has been found paying ransom to bandits will be held accountable, will be prosecuted. I think there is a provision of law that has been made. But the question, it has never been implemented. We have the good policy, we have the good initiative, we have the concept, the policy is there, but nobody has been held accountable. And this money is being delivered on a daily basis. But we have realized that some people who made negative comments on senators, on members of the National Assembly, or members of the State Assembly, governors, and other politicians, including the wife of the president, were easily traced and have been apprehended easily. So I wonder, and I still ask question, what's really the Ministry for Communication and Digital Economy doing? And what's really the other institutions that's supposed to be supporting the government in terms of tracking? No, you don't even need to track to some extent. I have said many times that the bandits, the kidnappers, those Fulani militia, whosoever is doing whatever they are doing, they are Nigerians. They are 99.9% of them are Nigerians. 99.9% of them, they are committing their activities within the 70-kilometer radius of their indigenous local government, of their indigenous communities, of their indigenous polling unit, of their indigenous polling, political what, of their indigenous environment where we know their parents, we know their co-parents, we know their sons, we know their children, and in some instances, many have been apprehended to have found wanting for either providing them with health care, providing them with social amenities, providing them with resources, delivering arms and ammunition to them, and so on and so forth. And we have not had any feedback, either from the government or from any of the security agencies, on what happens to them. So these have given have given an enabling environment whereby they do what they could, and they are even going on social media, spraying the money and saying that we are. Look at what happened recently when the MAGA secondary school were kidnapped. Listening to the video clips going around, whereby the bandits saying that government have no power, government have no capacity to come and collect the children collect you from us, but it was negotiated. Negotiation means a very big ball that it is very, very difficult to explain.
Okay.
Negotiated using
Dr.
money.
Getso,
negotiated using what?
We have a limited time, but then we need to proceed. It's rather unfortunate to say that, based on the security issues that we're having in Nigeria and the incessant kidnapping, security experts actually have these informations as to the people in government who are, either fueling or financing this particular issue, but then, no one is coming out to state names and, call them out so that either they can be shamed or Nigerians would ask them the right questions as to why they are doing this to their country. But then let's move ahead. Some analysts has argued that, negotiating with terrorists undermines the rule of law and encourages repeat attack. Do you agree? And if you do agree, why?
Well, I disagree. I quite disagree.
Why?
Negotiation in which aspects? Negotiation with bandits or the kidnappers or any of those criminals when they have people at the hostage, I disagree with it. I'm not in support of any negotiation in that, to negotiate with them and deliver money. I disagree with that. And I don't believe it is a way forward.
Okay,
but
so
I believe that there is negotiation where if they are to surrender their arms.
Carried out properly? What other measures can the government
Sorry,
use?
come again? Come again?
Okay, so you said you are not in agreement with, negotiating with bandits. But if you're not in agreement, can you, give us a better solution as to how the government can be able to handle these issues rather than sitting down on the table and negotiating with terrorists?
There are 5 ways to do that. One, a senator was caught to have mentioned yesterday on the floor of the Nigerian Senate, just yesterday. He made mention that we know the bandits, we know where they are, we know who they are, we know why they are bandits, and we know what they want. So government should look into this. Why, the 5 why mentioned by the senator, and act with it accordingly. That is one. Secondly, they are Nigerians, like I said, and government should be able to reach them so that they can surrender their arms, and government should attend to why they became terrorists and why they are bandits, and then it should be attended accordingly. And number 3, there is need to also find a way of managing or understanding what is the access, how are they accessing their supply chain in terms of armament, in terms of ammunition, in terms of whatever they are using in terrorizing the communities, so that government can break into that, so that we bring an end and block that chain and then provide them with an alternative way. Because if you ask them to stop today, to stop what they are doing, and you don't have an alternative for them, they are Nigerians. It is either government use either stick or carrot. If you are ready to surrender your arm, fine. Surrender your arm, and given conditions will be outlined by professional and by expert and by the intelligence and by the security agencies and government operatives or government representatives. If you are not ready to surrender your arm, to lower your arm and then take the peace deal, then government should take the carrot part of it. So these are the simple ways.
All right, now, Dr. Getso, looking at all that is happening, how does ransom payments or non-kinetic engagements, such as negotiations, affect the long-term security landscape in the country?
Well, it has affected the security landscape in many ways. One, the issue, we used to have the issue of kidnapping, the history of issue of kidnapping in the very hard and difficult terrain, remote areas. Now it has been transformed. That is something that is happening, taking place in villages, in towns, on the roads, in markets, in urban, semi-urban, and bigger cities, including the Abuja itself, the capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this is really very, very dangerous. And secondly, it is demoralizing our security personnel because they have all it takes in terms of interest, in terms of capacity, in terms of ability, in terms of knowledge and know-how on who are the criminals and where are the criminals. But because of the enabling environment of that payment of ransom, they are unable to deliver their job and do it decisively. Number 4, the issue of compromises. The payment of ransom have led to so many compromises, even by many security personnel and the security agencies, which is very, very dangerous for the country. And number 5, it also demoralizes the masses because the only alternative they have is to sell out whatever they have and put 1 naira, 1 naira, 2 naira, and put together the 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, and pay the ransom. So it also prompted many other unemployed youths and other group of masses to have joined. Because when you see the informers, it created a business, a cycle, a network of informers, which has become a very, very dangerous and more dangerous than those who are carrying the arms. So it has so many side effects and so many implications, which if Nigeria did not work wisely, did not work well in order to address it, it is going to be more aggressive and more dangerous as we continue to move.
All right, but we just saw the released girls from Kebbi State, where the governor and also the federal government said ransom was not paid, but then negotiations was made between the bandits and the government. But then Nigerians are asking in terms of transparency and accountability, because they need to understand how were they able to have these peaceful negotiations with this terrorist, and these girls were released and no arrests were made and what have you. So should the citizens know more as to these negotiations at the end of the day?
Well, thank you very much for bringing this up. I really appreciate this question. And it makes me laugh. Like I laugh when I heard that the government agencies are saying that they were able to collect the children without a negotiation, without any financial implication or so. Well, I quite disagree with the government, even though I don't have any evidence to tender that the money was given, but I disagree with the government. I don't believe it. I can never believe that. If they have the magic, if there is any magic being used in order to get these children released without payment of the ransom or payment of zero payments, zero decimal kobo paid, or any other thing, please, why can't they use the same magic in order to get the release of all in the captivity? That is one. Why can't they use the same magic in order to bring an end of the banditry? Why can't they use the same magic in order to stop the armed proliferation? I have said there are armed movers, there are armed importers, there are armed dealers, and there are armed transporters. Why can't they use the same strategy to negotiate and bring an end of armed movers, armed traders, armed importers, and armed transporters? Why can't they use the same strategy in order to make people of Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Niger to have a free movement, free activity, and also continue to relate, to go back to the main line that we were known with? Why are people of Shinkafi, Sabambuni, Isa, many parts of Sokoto, Niger, Kebbi, Zamfara, and Kano, why are we living in fear? Why can't the government use the same strategy? No government will be interested in allowing its citizens to be killed. Are the MAGA school girls, are they the only Nigerians? Are we not all Nigerians? Are the people of Katsina not Nigerians? Are the people of Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, and Kaduna and the rest, are they not Nigerians? Why can't they use the same strategy, the same systematic way, the same approach, the same negotiation skills, the same whatever they use? If at all no money was changed, I quite disagree, and I don't believe, and I will never believe. Government should know that we are not, we know what we are doing, we know the terrain, we know the environment, and we know what is happening. It is no longer a Kannywood movie. So let's government not take us like a Kannywood movie. It has happened, it has happened. But if at all they have those strategies, if at all they have those skills, if at all they have those negotiations, why can't they negotiate the end of killings? So that we know that government is really serious and responsible, and they really matters life and death. It is matters the life of Nigerians, and their property matters to them. I commend the government for the effort they are making. I'm not saying they are not doing anything. I'm not saying they are not doing enough, but their enough is not enough. We know the bandits, we know the criminals, we know who they are, we know where they are. And we are providing information every now and then. I receive intelligence every 30 minutes, a new intelligence, a new information on the banditry, on Boko Haram, on ISOP, on IPOP. Every now and then, I do receive this information on armed dealers, on armed transporters, armed movers, armed importers, phone snatchers, and so on and so forth. And I do share this information every 30 minutes, every 10 minutes. Immediately I get it, I send it around. All the security agencies, all the security managers in Nigeria, if they're hearing me and they're seeing me, they know who is Dr. Yahuza Getso. And I have been in this job, Valley, almost more than 25 years back. I have been on it, and I have been to 48 countries on this business, looking, searching for criminals and criminality, right, finding solutions, relating with the intelligence, military and paramilitary, and providing the information all over. Those informations are there. Why can't the government use the same strategies, the same negotiation used to get these children back to their children, to their family? Why can't they use the same to address the crimes? Why declaring the state of emergency on security?
Dr. Getso, are you with us?
Let's call the spade the spade. Let's be honest and sincere. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. We know. We know there is corruption, there are negligence, there are enemies within, there is policy issue, there are compromises, there are complicit, and there is impunity. Why some of the senators are even afraid of removing the police from the VIP? Why are they, haven't they know that many people are being killed before? Why didn't they respond to that? Why now responding and challenging the president? Why removing the police and the other escorts from the VIPs? Why challenging the details of the military, retired military personnel? Why are you challenging them?
Dr. Getso,
if at all you are honest, you are sincere, you have been in the Senate, and we have provided all text for you to make a legislation, but you have not done so.
Time is against us. Thank you for giving us your analysis, but time is against us. Before we go, myself and my colleague would love to ask you one or two questions, but then let me put this first before she comes in. The president has approved the establishment of a nationwide forest guard forces to secure Nigerians, which is 1,129 forest guards. I mean, we need to look for, a stronger solutions in tackling this menace that is facing us as a country. It's worrisome. People are not safe. People cannot sleep well in their homes. Our children cannot go to school feeling safe and knowing fully well that at the end of the day, they go home safely. I mean, it is so devastating. So, could the creation of specialized units like forest marshals or rapid response and teams significantly improve the security outcomes?
The reality is, when I had it, I commend the president for so doing, for initiating the forest guard. But when I look at the number, I laughed, and I believe government is not serious. Government is not serious. It's not taking its responsibility for protecting lives and property. If government is really sincere and want to really work on that and really need results, they should use the leadership recruitment strategy. Polling units engage minimum of 150 youths between the age of 17 to the age of 22 to 25. Build their capacity on police operation, military operation, army operation, and so on and so forth, basic, so that they engage them into the community as volunteers. If you have 10 polling units, 150 times 10.
Hello, doctor, are you there?
My sincere apologies, someone
I think he has a network issues. Hello, can you hear us?
So, yes, of course I do.
Please go ahead.
Yes, to the local government that is affected with this issue and the states. Pilot it as a strategy. Engage more youth that are moving around unemployed. Engage them. We have the resources. We have the ability. Nigeria have the financial capability to do that. So let's have that at least minimum of 1,500 per ward, and the total number per local government engage and train them and build their capacity and let them be part of those forest and community security volunteers. That is one. Secondly, the total number is so minute because the total number of the personnel, including their leadership, cannot even manage Goronyo, Sabambunya, and Isa in Sokoto State. So what are you talking about? Government should come on. Government should be serious. Government should be more committed. Government should be more responsible to do it right. You can't tell me that you engage 1,000 or 20,000 and you want to secure the Nigerian forest. That is come on. It can happen. It's not adequate. It cannot even cover the what do you call it? The Falgore in Kano State, the Falgore Forest Reserve. Tokulas of Yankari, go to Alkaleri, go to the areas of Runka in Katsina State, go to the other areas of Koli in Zamfara State, and so on and so forth. So the total 1,000 cannot even man 3 local governments. We have 774 local governments. How will you manage the rest of the areas? It's not adequate.
Okay, talking about doing things right, do you think Nigeria needs a formal national policy on negotiation? I mean, something clear and consistent, or is flexibility better?
Well, yes, of course, we can have a formal policy on negotiation because, like I said, 99.9% of the militia are Nigerians. Even though you may have some of the Boko Haram, few elements, which are not up to 30%, that are foreigners, they are influx, they are participating. There is nothing like unknown gunmen. When you say you have unknown gunmen, I do laugh. So since we know them and they are Nigerians, and we need to engage them back into Nigeria, we want them to use their intellect and so on and so forth. Yes, of course, we should have a policy of negotiation, but not a negotiation with ransom. The negotiation should be use of carrot or stick. It is either you surrender the arm or the government take necessary action using the carrot. That's the only way forward. But you cannot negotiate with the bandit or any other criminals. Then the state is compromising its sovereignty. Nigeria is a sovereign state. And the military we are exposing into the national security, we are endangering the security of the nation, the future of the military. We are demoralizing them.
All right,
we should empower the police. We should revive them so that they can do their work and address those internal security. We should have the policy, but the policy shouldn't focus on paying ransom. Paying ransom is very dangerous, and I will never support paying ransom.
All right, Dr. Getso, now at this point, how can the state and federal government work together in making sure that they can restore confidence while ensuring accountability to Nigerians?
There are 3 things. 1, government must have a single policy. 2, we must be ready to hold people accountable for the responsibilities given to them. And 3, there is need to improve mechanism. We need to have a unique policy and improve mechanism for handling the fragile security situation that we have in the country. If we can fight corruption, if we cannot fight corruption, we can never see the end of banditry, kidnapping, Boko Haram, and even more other criminalities will emerge in the near future. Before Lakurawa emerged, I warned government 7 years before the emergence of Lakurawa. I warned government about it because I know about it almost 7 years before it comes. And I warned government, go back to my clips, go back to my submissions, go back to YouTube and ask, who is Dr. Yahuza Getso? Go back if you are careful and you will take your time. You will be able to see a lot of submissions I made. But government didn't take it serious. We provide information, but those responsible are not being held accountable. If we cannot hold people accountable, if we cannot fight corruption, if we cannot change the strategy for which we employ, we train, we post, and we promote personnel, we will never get there, we will never get to the promised land.
Right,
We are going to
Dr.
crucify
Getso,
more of
you've made
ourselves
mention
than get a
of,
result.
you giving the government information when it comes to these groups or these bandits that might emerge in years to come. So why do you think the government has not taken advice from those indicators that have been pointed out to them and make sure that they took precautionary measures, making sure that they don't emerge and they don't become a menace in the country?
Negligence, lack of holding people accountable and responsible, inability to have complicit, issues of complicit, compromises, corruption, lack of standard policy, unique policy to fight the insurgency and also to manage the security wisely. These are the 6 reasons, 6 ingredients. There may be many other things, but these are the primary reasons why we are still having these challenges and government is unable to address this issue and government has not been able to listen. Government also inability to recognize the capacity of people like me and others. We have the capacity, we have the knowledge. I have information that government doesn't have it. So I share those information. I have spread network in 774 local governments in Nigeria. No agency of government may have some of the connections and network that I have. Why can't government leverage into that and take advantage and then assist? I am Nigerian. My responsibility is only to generate information as expert, as promotion, as professional, as somebody who have the knowledge and passion. There are many like me who may have better knowledge than me. They have the knowledge, they have the information, but they swallow it into their stomach. They don't want to share it. 247, I mobilize information, I generate information at no cost. I share it with government agencies, I share it with the personnel, I share it with relevant authorities. And I do also discuss them on both national and international media. It's because I have passion. It's because I believe in Nigeria. It's because I am a Nigerian. I have offer with the Israeli government and the US government and Bulgaria. Even now, if I want to leave this country, tomorrow I can leave. But I said I'm not going anywhere. I will stay in my country. I will continue to assist my country. And there are many other people who have this capacity. Government should leverage into their skills and knowledge. US government built my capacity for 17 years. And I commend the US government for so doing, because Nigeria is now benefiting out of it. But we have not been utilizing the resources available that we have. We have the capacity, we have the ability, we can manage the security challenges bedeviling the nation. But because until and unless we have a serious and responsible government, that's the only way forward.
Okay, Dr. Getso, we have, talked about these negotiations, why the government is not heeding to the alerts, to the informations that they get as to, these terrorists attacking people, communities, and what have you. Now, let's look ahead. We need a lasting solution to this problem. If you were to advise the government now, because you said, you get this alert and then you share it with security agencies at no cost, but nothing is being done. Now that you're speaking with us this morning, you have the platform to advise the government. What would you say to the government? Just 3 steps shortly before we leave, as to, how they can stop and reduce
corruption,
these attacks.
Fight corruption sincerely, honestly, and squarely. Hold people accountable and responsible for the authority and responsibility given to them. Employ massive employment of personnel on merit, and also providing the social welfare for the personnel to ensure that rebuilding the trust and confidence of Nigerians and the personnel. Once you can have these ingredients, you will get there.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Yahuza Ahmad Getso, a security expert, for speaking with us this morning and for helping us unpack the topic in terms of, negotiation with terrorists. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day. It's been a pleasure meeting you too.
Absolutely.
And you too.